This is great gray owl territory, and it is bitter cold.
I had heard about Sax-Zim Bog in northern Minnesota and the great gray owls who lived there, but also the other birds and the Pine Martens. It's January and I decided to visit family in Chicago. Of course I drove so I could maximize the amount of camera gear I would take, as I planned to take an 8-hour detour on the way home to visit Sax-Zim Bog. I had a great time in Chicago, but the reintroduction to winter, snow, and cold made me question the sanity of my side trip to Sax-Zim Bog this time of year. The forecast was cold, and I didn't see temperatures above 0 degrees Fahrenheit during the 3 days I was in the area. The lowest temperature, minus 17. I don't know whether my hands and feet will ever be the same. I didn't sleep well that first night as I worried about my car, the camera gear and whether it would work, and of course, how I would keep my hands and feet warm. The next morning, the car started and the adventure to find wildlife began.
Well, it's first light, and we're looking for great gray owls.
It was disappointing to take so many poor pictures due to the cold conditions. To take sharp photographs in cold weather, your camera and lens must be the same temperature as the ambient air. Otherwise, the heat coming off your camera will distort the image, just like when you see heat waves on the hot pavement in the summer. Yes, you need to drive around with no heat on. The main reason for my visit to Sax-Zim Bog was to see the great gray owl. It wasn't long before I saw one, but the challenges of seeing and taking good pictures in these extreme conditions became evident almost immediately. So the snowy owls have moved south, and I'm going to go see if I can find one. There were reports of a snowy owl in the area which had been seen sitting on the hay bales at a local farm. I drove by a number of times but never did find the snowy owl, but continued to enjoy the other birds. After seeing a couple of owls, I prioritized looking for and enjoying other wildlife. The flocks of red crossbill were never very close, as they tend to stay at the top of the trees. A very unique bird whose bill allows them to open even tightly closed pine cones to get the seeds. I thought I saw another owl until I looked through my camera. I saw redpolls a couple of times, but was never able to get a decent picture. But I still continued to see owls, even when looking for other wildlife. It's winter wonderland. Yeah, it's just beautiful. Notice the snow's not squeaking as much, so it's not so cold. I stopped at the visitor center, as it is always very helpful to understand the other wildlife in the area, but it also gave me a chance to warm up.
This place is amazing. I love it, but it is freezing cold. The high today, -2. I don't have any video because he wasn't here long, but I got pictures of the Pine Marten from right here.
I saw the Pine Marten run across the road. I got out of the car and waited. For 30 minutes, nothing. Finally, I saw the Pine Marten deep in the forest coming directly towards me. It took an additional 10 minutes of freezing, but then he appeared. I was thrilled to see and photograph this cute, vicious hunter. The American red squirrels provided entertainment when there was no other wildlife. The one photograph seems as if the little squirrel is enjoying the snow and praying for more. Just a small movement revealed the snowshoe hare, or I would have missed it. I spent a lot of time just casually hanging out, and eventually the hare became comfortable I wasn't a predator. Slowly, the hare started to eat and go about its normal daily activity. I miss seeing and photographing so many of the interesting creatures which call this part of the world home during the winter. It just means I need to come back.